Right then, lads.
Today we'll be doing potential FIFA 22 hero cards. As you all know, there will be in the new concept of FIFA 22, there will be hero cards that aren't good enough to get icons, but people still love them as a player. The way they work is the league, they'll get a strong link to anyone in the league, they'll get a strong link to any club in that league, and they'll get a weak link to any nationality, and they won't get any link to if they have none of that, quite obviously.
So, the way we're going to do this is we're going to do 3 from each of the top 5 leagues, and then we're going to do 3 from teams outside the top 5 leagues. Going right into the Premier League with Dimitar Berbatov.
He's definitely a Premier League legend, but I don't think he's good enough to get an icon card, especially having the best touch ever in the Premier League history, and maybe in any league. He's probably most known for his time at Man United, but he's still great at Tottenham.
Now on to a Champions League winner in Hyypiä.
He was part of that amazing 2005 team who performed the miracle being AC Milan with players such as Seedorf, Hullet, Crespo, Shevchenko, all Ballon d'Or winners. But he parted in a great defence with Carragher and Jerzy Dudek, who Jerzy Dudek is already confirmed to get a hero card. And Hyypiä, very underrated player, and people love him. So that's why we have him as a hero. Now, on to our next player, who is a bit sad for him. He won't be known for his football career. In fact, he'll be known as a meme, Emil Heskey.
And don't even get me started on his head when he puts it down and gives you the eyes, you know it's
Heskey die. Bitch, I'm Heskey. You don't wanna mess with me. If you do, you're gonna be my next. Ain't no recipe. I'm too big for that sex abandoned less. I be over that. When I set my eyes on you, there's no escape. You know that.
No one knows how good he was. He did rack over 100 goals in the Premier League, but we're just talking about his 2 clubs in his prime, which were Leicester and Liverpool. Obviously, yes, he is a meme because of obviously KSI with the Heskey Time song, but he was a quality player and no one understood how good he really was.
Now onto La Liga, starting with Barcelona's #1 for 12 years, and part of that Pep Guardiola generation that with La Masia winning so much, winning the treble, arguably the best team in history. Victor Valdez, who played 387 games for them, keeping 171 clean sheets.
If it wasn't for him being in the same generation as Iker Casillas, he would have been looked upon a lot more and would be Spain's #1 and would be seen as one of the best goalkeepers to live. Now, on to our second La Liga one, which is our second Barcelona one as well, is Romario. Obviously got an icon card in, I believe it was FIFA 14, but also left. I'm not sure why the reason is, but he did leave.
Yeah, he was an absolute class player back in the day. Just looking back on his stats, how good he was for Brazil, part of that generation that probably won everything that can be won with the Barcelona team winning the Champions League, at PSV winning the Champions League. He was an amazing player back in his day. Now, on to another very underrated player that players just don't know how good he was, Xabi Alonso. Again, like with Victor Valdez, he was very unlucky not to be, given as much credit as he deserved because he was in a generation of Iniesta, Xavi, so many great players in a similar position than him. Yeah, he was a bit more defensive.
He was a player like Busquets, not the quickest player, but he was a defensive midfielder and he had all of the technical ability you can ask for. The passing, the dribbling, with the help of Cristiano Ronaldo on his team, pinging in them through balls was an absolute joy to watch. Now, right into the Serie A with one of the best Brazilian goalkeepers ever, and it's Dida, AC Milan legend, played 206 games, keeping 92 clean sheets. Almost half of his games were clean sheets.
Yeah, class goalkeeper. It does help when you have the defense of Maldini, Nesta, Cafu in front of you, but nothing is taken away from him, how good he was. Now, on to another Brazilian player and another defender, Lucio. He was the modern defender, coming up forward, more of a centre half and centre back. His passing was amazing. He got up there, scored a lot of goals with his head, and just it was an amazing player for Inter.
Yeah, this is our second Brazilian in the Serie A, an absolute quality player, a very underrated defender because he was in a generation where you got people like Ramos coming through the ranks, but he was so quick, so nimble, so strong. He was the perfect defender.
Now, someone needs to call up Catgon Tom because he's screaming out the S with this. Robinho get a perfect with Dida, both AC Milan and Brazilian, and what a player he was back in his day, a Bayern AC Milan legend.
He's like Neymar. He's like Neymar is Robinho's regen. So quick on the ball and off the ball. His positioning was fantastic, and also, dare I say, Manchester City legends. Now, moving on to the Ligue 1, we've got the Marseille goalkeeper Bartel. A very interesting life and career for him because he moved on from football into racing. As you can see in the image, he's wearing that nice little kit. And he was a quality goalkeeper and could have been even better if he stuck to football, but he chose to move on.
Yeah, a world-class keeper who won the World Cup. And there is an interesting story with Blanc and him, where Blanc always used to kiss his bald head before every game as good luck. And guess what? They won the World Cup that year, so maybe it worked. Now on to Paoletta, a typical Liga legend. He was the best in his whole career with being with Bordeaux and PSG. So many goals in such short amount of games, and very, very class player.
Obviously, being Portuguese, I love the guy. He idolized the one-step penalty. If you didn't know, he chose to take one-step penalties, and you know what? He popped most of them. Quality striker, even for Portugal. Obviously, he's not seen as good because of players like Eusebio and Ronaldo, but he was still one of the most prolific strikers Portugal has ever seen. Now, on to Ginola, being a PSG left wing, also played in the Premier League for Newcastle. Quality player, so quick, great at passing.
Yeah, he's like the nowadays Saint Maximin. He was amazing on the ball. Definitely would have 5-star skills. Would be such a fun player to use, and everyone. He was a fan favorite. No one disliked him. I don't care what team he supported. You can't dislike him. How fun he was to watch.
Now, moving on to the Bundesliga with the Peruvian striker Pizarro. His best at Bayern Munich, but was also pretty decent at Werder Bremen.
Yeah, I don't know if this card would be released just because how bad it would be. As you can see, it's that 74 pace. No one's going to be using that even in September. But it would be a FIFA thing to do to have at least majority of the players being rubbish. So we have a guaranteed pack. That's who you're going to probably get. Now, on to Z Roberto, a player who neither of us knew about before doing research for this. But looking back on his career, he was a class player for many teams. Bayer Leverkusen, Bayern Munich, Hamburg. He was very good and very all-round.
Looking at some of his stats in old FIFAs, from what I learned, he must have been rapid. He must have been so nimble on the ball, but also being aggressive, strong, and great at defending.
Now on to the final Bundesliga hero card, with Kevin Keegan. Again, a very old player playing in the 70s, 80s, but he was a class player. Almost good enough to get an icon card. Maybe being a bit biased because of his Liverpool days, but class player, even at Hamburg, winning the Champions League.
Obviously, we don't know much about him because we didn't watch him play, but looking at some of these stats, also him winning the Ballon d'Or, and as I said, the Champions League, getting so many goals in not that many games, and he looks like a quality player and a quality card as well. I would look forward to use this card in FIFA. Alright, that's the top 5 leagues done. Now onto the 3 players that we've done for the rest of the world. Starting off in the MLS with Landon Donovan, a quality player for LA Galaxy. We've only put him as 86 rated because obviously it's not the best league in the world, and he could have been a lot better if he moved to one of the top 5 leagues. I think he would have been better in the Premier League in that era when centre forwards were very popular and they were quite attacking. They got goals and assists. He got 247 games for LA Galaxy. He played a lot of games, and by these stats, he was just a quality player.
Forget the football. I don't know what is wrong with his hairline. I think the barber must have sneezed while cutting his hair.
Now, on to the Portuguese league, a player that all of us just love to watch, and it is Quaresma. He was a Trevella King. He was known as a Trevella King. Absolute machine of a player. It was like impossible to get the ball off him. He's so nimble, so quick. Absolutely amazing player.
Yeah, it's so fun to watch, and just think about his World Cup in 2018. 2 amazing goals from him, and he was just a fun player to watch. That's why we think he'll get a hero card. Now on to the final player that we want to see in FIFA 22 as a hero card, Edgar Davids, a class player for Ajax, Juventus, Barcelona. Amazing player, had a great career, and probably best known for his goggles.
It was a hard choice between him or Wesley Sneijder. Both quality players, but we think that Wesley Sneijder is good enough to get an icon. Don't get me wrong, Edgar Davids, one of the Netherlands' best midfielders, has a lot of competition as well with players like Rijkaard and Ruud Gullit. But he was an amazing player. But we do think that Wesley Sneijder was a bit better than him. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.